Hello learners, this is Habiba with Excel with me. If you like the video, please do like, share, subscribe and comment below. Let's start with today's class, that is UGC NET Paper 2 Education, with the Unit 3, that is Learner and Learning Process, with the subtopic Approaches to Intelligence from Unitary to Multiple. And the topic is assessment of intelligence. In the previous class, we have understood how these intelligence tests have been developed by different psychologists. Now let's understand about IQ tests, that is intelligent quotient tests. IQ tests are used to measure human intelligence quotient as measured against an age-based average intelligence score. IQ tests attempt to measure and provide an intelligent quotient, which is a score derived from a standardized test designed to assess human intelligence. There are now several variations of these tests that have built upon and expanded the original test, which was designed to identify children in need of remedial education. Currently, IQ tests are used to study distributions in scores among specific populations. Over time, these scores have come to be associated with differences in other variables such as behavior, performance, and well-being. These vary based on cultural norms. Now, let's understand standardized tests. What are standardized tests? Standardized tests are identical exams always administered in the same way so as to be able to compare outcomes across all test takers. Like we take competitive exams or ability tests, general ability tests or entrance tests, same way they conduct, that is standardized tests. Standardized tests are assessments that are always administered in the same way so as to be able to compare scores across all test takers. Students respond to the same questions, receive the same directions and have the same time limits, and the tests are scored according to explicit standard criteria. Standardized tests are usually created by a team of test experts from a commercial testing company in consultation with classroom teachers and university faculty. Then standardized tests are designed to be taken by many students within a state, province or nation, and sometimes across nations. Standardized tests are perceived as being fairer than non-standardized tests and more conducive to comparison of outcomes across all test takers. That said, several widely used standardized tests have also come under heavy criticism for potentially not actually evaluating the skills they say they test for. Now let's understand the types of standardized tests. Include achievement tests, which are designed to assess what students have learned in a specific content area or at a specific grade level. That is, when in the classroom exams are conducted, one assessment to the other assessment, they understand the grade levels. Then diagnostic tests, which are used to profile skills and abilities, strengths and weaknesses, to understand the abilities of the children and their weaknesses and their strengths to plan their teaching learning strategies. Then aptitude tests, which like achievement tests measure what students have learned. However, rather than focusing on specific subject matter learned in school, the test items focus on verbal, quantitative, problem solving abilities that are learned in school or in the general culture. According to test developers, both the ACT and SAT assess general educational development and reasoning analysis and problem solving, as well as predicting success in college. Now, how this scoring standardized tests happens? Standardized test scores are evaluated in two ways, that is relative to a specific scale or criterion, or relative to the rest of the test takers, that is criterion referenced and norm referenced. Some recent standardized tests incorporate both criterion referenced and norm referenced elements into the same test. Now, standardized tests and education. What is the relation between these two? Let's understand. Standardized tests are often used to select students for specific programs. For example, the SAT, that is Scholastic Aptitude Test, and ACT, that is American College Tests, are norm referenced tests used to help admissions officers decide whether to admit students to their college or university. Norm reference standardized tests are also one of the factors in deciding if students are eligible for special education or gifted and talented programs. Then criterion reference tests are often used to determine what students are eligible for promotion to the next grade or graduation from high school. Now, let's understand the relation between standardized tests and intelligence. Some standardized tests are designed specifically to assess human intelligence. For example, the commonly used Stanford-Binet IQ test, the Wechsler Adult Intelligence Scale, and the Wechsler Intelligence Scale for children are the standardized tests designed to test intelligence. However, these tests differ in how they define intelligence and what they claim to measure. The Stanford-Binet test aims to measure G factor or general intelligence. David Wechsler, the creator of the Wechsler intelligence scales, thought intelligence measurements needed to address more than just one factor, and also that they needed to take into account non-intellective factors such as fear or failure or lack of confidence. It is important to understand what a given standardized test is designed to measure, as well as what it actually measures, which may or may not be the same. For example, many people mistakenly believe that the SAT is Scholastic Achievement Test is a test designed to measure intelligence. However, while SAT scores and G factor are related, the SAT is in fact designed to measure literacy, writing and problem solving skills needed to succeed in college, and is not necessarily a reflection of intelligence. Now, let's conclude the topic. Intelligence tests and standardized tests are widely used throughout many different fields, psychology, education, business, etc., because of their ability to assess and predict performance. So, we come to the end of this session. If you like the class, please do like, share, comment below and subscribe. Thanks for your attention and time. Happy learning.